Ah, yes, the ADU adjustment on a Motorola amplifier. I don't know how much time we've all spent trying to land our adjustment screwdriver onto that little tiny potentiometer down inside the hole. You'd think there's a better way.
So today we're going to show you how we turn this stack of trimmer pot screwdrivers from a run-of-the-mill Bourne's trimmer pot for adjusting small potentiometers into our custom adjustment tools for Motorola, General Instrument, Aris, CommScope amplifiers. And the secret is this little plastic sleeve, which we 3D print and which slides onto the end of the adjuster. And this sleeve allows the screwdriver to guide smoothly into the ADU hole on the amplifier, and you still have access to the other end for adjusting the manual gain. So let's get started.
So the first thing we're going to need is a Bourne's tuning tool, part number H90. This particular one I got from DigiKey, but you can get from any electronic supplier. They're between $3 and $4 a piece, and they're a good tuning tool that fits our design. The next piece you'll need is the design for our 3D printed sleeve. You can see it's a fairly simple design. It's really just a tube, and on one end it has the shroud that goes over the amplifier adjuster, and the other end has a bit of a taper to fit over top of the tuning tool. I find it's best to print these with the tapered end facing down, and if you print them individually, they take about 10 minutes to print. I print them 4 at a time, so you can get it just under 40 minutes. One of the nice things, though, is you don't actually have to sit there and watch while your 3D printer prints them.
So while our plastic sleeves are printing, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step, which is to modify the Bourne's tool to accept the plastic sleeve. So you'll notice that on the stock trimmer tool, one end of the tool has a shrouded blade and the other end has an exposed blade. We need to modify the tool so that both ends are exposed. And we do that by trimming off the shroud. So we take our utility knife and right about there, and we just roll back and forth to score the tool. And we cut off that little piece of plastic, and now we have an exposed blade. So here are the finished sleeves off the printer. And we just have to do a little bit of trimming on them to make them ready to go. Peel off the raft. And you might have to do a little bit of trimming on the edges to get rid of some of the burrs. But other than that, it is pretty much ready to go. You may find that some of your prints have a little bit of extra plastic left over from the bed of your 3D printer. The easiest, safest way I've found to clean this up is just take the end of a pair of scissors and just lightly rotate that around, and it gets rid of that edge. And then you can also take a little piece of sandpaper and run it around the edge to get rid of that burr. So now we have our two pieces ready to go, and this is probably the easiest part of the whole process. We just have to stick them together. So we find the wider end, the thicker end of the Bourne's tool, and we find the bigger end of the adjustment tool, and we simply push these together. It's a bit of a tight fit, and they just friction fit together. And you will see now that the blade has a larger shroud on it, and we have our guide pin on the end.
And now we get to see the final product in action. The tool should slide directly into the ADU adjustment with minimal fuss and frustration. I hope that you find this custom adjustment tool a useful addition to your toolbox, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video on how it's made.